thank you once again for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, give this video a like, drop a comment, and let's jump into today's WNBA game. Minnesota Lynx versus New York Liberty team comparison. The Minnesota Lynx are on fire, winning their last 5 games and already taking 3 matchups from New York this season. They've been consistent on both ends despite missing Nafisa Collier, with Courtney Williams stepping up as a primary playmaker. The Liberty, still dealing with injuries to Brianna Stewart, Isabel Harrison, and Nyara Sabally, are leaning heavily on Emma Meesman since her return. While New York has home court advantage, Minnesota has been the hotter and more reliable team down the stretch. Spread Minnesota Lynx plus 2.5. The Lynx have already beaten New York 3 times this season, and they're riding a 5-game winning streak. Getting points with the hotter team makes sense, especially since Minnesota has proven they can handle the Liberty even without Collier total. Over 164.5, Minnesota has gone over in 7 of their last 10, consistently pushing totals into the mid-162nd. Their last 4 home games have seen at least 166 combined points, while New York has also been hitting higher totals on the road. With both sides relying on playmakers to generate offense, this matchup sets up as another high-scoring contest. Moneyline, Minnesota Lynx. Even as underdogs, Minnesota's form and head-to-head dominance over New York this season give them the edge. The Liberty's injuries and reliance on Meesman leave them vulnerable, while the Lynx have shown better balance and momentum. Player prop suggestions. Kayla McBride, over 14.5 points. McBride has scored 17 and 18 points in her last 2 games against New York and continues to be a steady offensive weapon. With Collier sidelined, she's taken on a larger scoring role and should once again clear this line. Emma Meesman, over 22.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Since her season debut, Meesman has averaged 26.2 PRA and hit the over in 3 straight road games. With Stewart still out, she'll continue to shoulder a heavy load in the Liberty's front court and is in a prime spot to produce across the board. Connecticut Sun versus Washington Mystics team comparison. The Connecticut Sun have been the league's worst team this season, sitting at 6-27 and dropping 13 straight road games. Despite strong performances from Marina Mabrey and Tina Charles, they continue to struggle closing games away from Mohegan Sun Arena. The Washington Mystics, meanwhile, are still fighting for a playoff spot and come in on a 2-game winning streak. Even after trading away pieces at the deadline, Washington has stayed competitive thanks to players like Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen, and they've already beaten the Sun twice this year, including a 37-point blowout at home spread. Washington Mystics minus 5.5. The Mystics are 2-0 against the Sun this season and have dominated the matchup, especially at home. With Connecticut losing nearly every game on the road and Washington still pushing hard for a playoff spot, laying the points on the home team is the logical play. Over 157.5. While both teams rank in the bottom half of the league in offensive efficiency, recent play suggests points can still flow. Connecticut games have trended higher behind Mabrey and Charles' scoring bursts, while Washington has been steady at home, averaging 8-0 plus in recent wins. The combination makes the over a realistic target money line. Washington Mystics. Washington is at home in better form and has everything to play for with playoff positioning on the line. Connecticut's road struggles make it hard to trust them in this spot, giving the Mystics a clear edge straight up. Player prop suggestions. Sonia Citron, over 16.5 points. Citron has been scorching, averaging 22.5 points across her last 2 games, including a 24-point performance against Los Angeles. With Connecticut struggling defensively, she's well positioned to keep her scoring surge going. Marina Mabrey, over 15.5 points. Mabrey is coming off a 27-point night against Indiana and has been one of the few reliable scoring options for the Sunday. Even in a likely loss, she should have the volume to push past this line. Seattle Storm versus Chicago Sky team comparison. Seattle comes in at 17-18 but has dropped 7 of its last 8 games. Even so, the Storm remain in the playoff picture and have been more competitive than their record shows, with many recent losses decided by just a few points. Chicago is 8-25, 1-7 over its last 8, and has been without Angel Reese. Without her, the Sky owned the worst net rating in the league, and they were blown out 95-57 by Seattle in their last head-to-head. Spread, Seattle Storm minus 11.5. Seattle already covered this same number comfortably in their last meeting with Chicago. The Sky have failed to cover in 9 of their last 10 games, and with Reese still sidelined, they've been overmatched. The Storm should take care of business again here. Total over 157.5. Odds makers have the line around 155-158, and with Chicago's defense collapsing without Reese, games have trended higher. Seattle's last matchup with the Sky soared past this total, and the same script is likely to play out again. Moneyline, Seattle Storm. The Storm are heavy favorites, and for good reason. Chicago has struggled to stay competitive without its star, while Seattle still has playoff urgency. There's little betting value, but Seattle should win outright. Player prop suggestions. Brittany Sykes under 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Sykes has only cleared this number in 2 of her 5 games since joining the Storm. She's averaged just 16 PRA over her last 3 outings, making the under the stronger angle, especially in a potential blowout. Atlanta Dream versus Las Vegas Aces. Team comparison. The Aces are riding a 7-game win streak and look to extend it at home, but the Dream have been just as strong, winning 4 of their last 5. Statistically, Atlanta holds the edge, averaging 83.9 points per game to Vegas's 82.9, out-rebounding them 36.5 to 33.9, and moving the ball better with 21.1 assists. Las Vegas did take the last head-to-head, but overall the Dream's consistency makes them look like the stronger team in this spot spread. Atlanta Dream plus 2.5. Atlanta has been one of the most efficient teams lately, ranking 2nd in net rating this month and keeping games close with just 2 recent losses by 2 points each. Getting points with the Dream makes sense against an Aces squad that's hot, but facing one of its toughest tests, total under 164.5. While both teams can score, the line is set high. With both sides ramping up defensively during their recent streaks, the under looks like the better call in what could be a tighter playoff-style matchup. Moneyline. Atlanta Dream. The Dream have been better statistically and come in with momentum of their own. With plus money value and stronger season-long numbers, Atlanta has a real chance to steal this one outright. Player prop suggestions. Naz Hillman over 9.5 points highlights Hillman's impact as a starter, where she's averaging 11 points compared to 8 as a reserve. Her role is secure even with Griner back, and this line is discounted for her production level. Aja Wilson over 24.5 points. Wilson has been dominant with recent outings of 34, 30, and 32 points. In her current form, she's more than capable of surpassing this line again as Vegas's primary scorer. Phoenix Mercury versus Golden State Valkyries, team comparison. The last time these two teams met, it was a nail-biter, with the Mercury edging out the Valkyries 78-77. Phoenix sits at 20-13 and continues to lean heavily on Alyssa Thomas, who has been carrying the load with scoring, rebounding, and playmaking. Golden State at 18-16 has been competitive and nearly stole the last matchup, showing they can hang close despite being underdogs. Spread. Golden State Valkyries plus 6.5. The previous game between these two finished with just a 1-point difference, highlighting how evenly matched they can be. With Phoenix favored by multiple possessions, the value leans toward Golden State keeping this contest close again. Total. Under 155.5. Both teams have been in lower scoring battles recently, and their last head-to-head combined for just 155 points. With Phoenix's recent offensive averages sitting below their season mark, the under looks like the sharper side here, moneyline Phoenix Mercury. While Golden State can compete, Phoenix has the edge in overall talent and already pulled off the narrow win last time. Backing the Mercury straight up is the safer angle given their stronger record and reliance on Alyssa Thomas's all-around production. Player prop suggestions. Veronica Burton, over 10.5 points. Burton has been stepping up lately, dropping 16 and 11 points in her last 2 outings and exploding for 30 just a week ago. With her role increasing, she's in a strong spot to clear this modest scoring line. Alyssa Thomas over 14.5 points. As the article notes, Thomas is averaging over 16 per game this season while also being a triple-double threat. She's been consistent with 15+ points in 4 of her last 5, making the over the play at this number.